Hi, Julie McQueen here with yet another gun cleaning video. My whole purpose behind doing these videos for you guys is for beginners. It's for women or people who aren't really familiar with cleaning their own firearms, and I just want to reassure everybody that as long as you put safety first, you really can't mess it up that bad. So just like I said, safety first. The very first thing you will always hear me talk about or see me do is take this magazine out. The magazine is empty, and then you're going to do a visual physical inspection of the firearm. This one has a slide lock, so I can put that back, lock it. I can take a nice look down that barrel and make sure that nothing's in there. The chamber is clear, and then we are ready to start cleaning. This is the Ruger P345. This is a fantastic self-defense firearm. A lot of guys carry these into the field as a sidearm. Really nice, very safe as far as pistols go. One thing I like about this one is right up here on the top, you can see where it says loaded chamber indicator. Not a lot of pistols have this. This is kind of cool. If there's a bullet in this chamber, this little thing will be raised up just a little bit so you can visually see if this gun is loaded. I love that feature. I think it's really cool. So first things first, we are going to go ahead and start field stripping this gun. I want to reassure, especially the women out there, because sometimes it can be a little intimidating when you look at something like this and go, oh, I don't know if I could take that apart and put it back together. It's really simple. So I'm here to show you that even I can do it. It's not that difficult. So first thing you're gonna do is right up here at the top on the slide and right here, you're gonna see two little notches. These notches have to line up for you to get the pin out, which is your first step of field stripping this gun. So see this little gray dot right here? I'm actually going to keep my right index finger on that so that when this is lined up, I give it a nice little push and that pin is going to pop right out. It looks something a little bit like this. So got the two notches lined up right about there. Give it a nice push and my pin is out of the firearm. So you've seen me field strip some other pistols before. Usually I would just take this slide right off, but not on this one. Right here at the top inside, you're gonna see a little black lever. Kind of hard to see. A lot of guys will take a pen or a pencil and they'll just push it down with that. I always just take the tip of my finger, stick it in there, push it down. What that is a magazine safety feature. You should not dry fire this pistol with the magazine in it. So I'm going to push that down very gently. You can actually feel it go down. You can hear it go out of place just a little bit. And once that lever is down, you release that slide and it comes off beautifully, just like that. So now you get this piece right there. And then once your slide is off, it's like a little puzzle. So don't be worried about getting it all back together. It's not hard to do. Now, this is a .45 caliber, so the spring is going to be a little bit stronger than some of them we've worked with in the past. All you have to do is get a nice grip on it, push forward a little, and release it. It's going to be seated up here in the front, so give it a nice little pull, but you do not want to stretch this spring out, so be really gentle with it once you get it out of there. Now, the barrel, you just take this little piece, you're going to push forward and release. It comes right out. Now, typically I would go through a very rigorous cleaning on any firearm that I do on these videos for you. This gun has never even been fired. It's been carried as a sidearm, but it doesn't get shot a whole lot. So I'm actually just gonna do a quick wipe down of it, make sure there's no debris. We could do a whole barrel cleaning on it. You could go through everything, with solvent, but sometimes it's nice just to field strip your weapon, open it up, get down in there, make sure there's no debris. Anytime you have a cleaning table, I recommend keeping some Q-tips on it because they are perfect for getting down in these little crevices. Make sure that no little pieces of dirt, especially if you've been carrying it in the field, like you can see some grime and stuff on that already. And then you can even take this, put it down in there, and use your Q-tip to get down in all of the little spaces. And once that is cleaned out, just go piece by piece, give it a nice little wipe down. I also want to say that when you get to this piece, you don't need to do a whole lot down in there with your trigger mechanisms. You can pretty much just do a nice little wipe down, give it a visual inspection, make sure there's no little pieces of cotton or debris that are caught inside of this. And now that I have this opened up, you can actually see right here. This is the little safety feature I was talking about earlier, that little black lever. That's the piece that you're gonna push down when you go to open this gun up. So that's it right there. And your spring shouldn't be too dirty either. Give it a nice little wipe down, just like that. And if you've been firing yours a lot, go ahead and go through the barrel with you know, some solvent. Make sure that there's no debris in there. Make sure it's nice and clean. This one I don't really need to do that. I just wanted to open it up, wipe it down, make sure that everything looked good on the inside, make sure no moisture was down in there, and it looks really clean. So now the fun part. It seems like a lot of people, when we talk about cleaning their guns, they're nervous about putting it all back together because, you know, it would be terrible to open something like this up and not be able to put it back. I'm telling you, it's so simple. First, you're gonna start with your barrel. You're gonna lay it down in there, just like that. You really can't do it wrong. These guns are made in a way that, you know, once you get it into the right place, you're gonna feel it when it slips into the position that it needs to be in. Like I said, don't stretch that spring out. You're gonna put it right back on that rod. And so on this, you're gonna seed this right up in the front, and you're gonna have to push pretty hard on this spring. It's a tight fit. The top of this, the flat piece, is going to fit perfectly right here in this section. So if you have everything lined up and this rod is going out the front right here, I always put my finger right there on the front of the barrel and I line it up, get it in there perfect. And like I said earlier, when it goes into position, you will feel it. You'll feel a little bit of a click and you'll know that everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. Now, the fun part. When you look at this, you can actually see how one is going to fit into the other. You just line it up, just like that. Simple, simple, simple. Just like that. Easy enough, right? But now the fun part. So this pin is what's gonna hold all of it together. And sometimes it can be kind of tough to get this pin back into place, especially if you don't have really strong hands. Some of these guns, the springs in them are a little tight and it's hard to get those back into place. Once again, you're gonna find those two little markings. I like to have this pin ready. I like to be prepared, and as soon as I get that lined up like that, I'm just gonna take this pin and I'm gonna slip it right in that space right there. So, do this. Okay, that's lined up perfect. Just like that. Sometimes you need a little bit more. I'm gonna try to show you, see those two little lines? Right there. And if you give it a nice push, should go, there we go. And you can see on this side that that looks exactly like it did before. Now, make sure everything works right. Get that slide open, give it a visual inspection. I know I say that a lot, but make sure you look at these things. Make sure you take a nice look inside, make sure no cotton from your Q-tips, no little pieces of fabric are hanging out, and then that's it. Make sure you put this back in and you're good to go. Once again, do not be intimidated by taking apart and putting your guns back together. You really can't mess it up, and if you get it all apart and you don't know what to do, there are tons of videos just like this one out there that will take you step by step into putting these back together. Just make sure you put safety first and you can't mess it up.